Hello and welcome to today's first episode of the Introduction to Chalk Art course series. Today we're going to be going over the basics, fundamentals of chalk art. So we're going to start off by looking at how to create three-dimensionality on a 2D surface. We're then going to move into construction lines, looking at anatomical forms within our character design. And we're going to be talking about blending. So how do we take the basic colors that we have from our chalk series, our chalk set, and how do we incorporate our whites and our blacks to be able to create those shades of the colors that we have to make more complex colors and really put that detail into our drawings. And then we'll get a hint at what we're going to be looking into later, which is the difference between the more realistic chalk art and those that are more based towards caricature, our cartoonish graphic design based characters. The character that you'll be seeing today, the caricature that I'm doing, is inspired by Infinity Train's King Atticus. So shout out to Infinity Train for their wonderful character. It's a great show. Please go watch it and support the show after watching this video. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the view and we'll get started on our chalk art. So let's go ahead and start by talking about our setup. So I've gone ahead and drawn out a rectangle-ish shape here, more of a trapezoid really for me because of the camera angle, but an area so we can figure out what are the parameters that we can be working in. That way I don't go out of the lines, so you'll be able to see everything that I'm doing as I do this work. Now, we have 6 different colors here that we're going to be using, as well as I have 2 white pieces of chalk, a black piece of chalk, and a gray. That way we can be covering all the colors for the image. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've grabbed a reference image for myself of what we're going to be drawing today with the sidewalk chalk, and I've sort of color matched the actual colors that we should be seeing in the image and grabbed similar colors of the actual chalk. Now when we're blending, we're going to be able to make different colors from what we already have. So we have our base colors from the actual set right here, and we go ahead and add some black in, add some white in to get those different shades of the colors so that we can make a more realistic image, and that's going to all come down to blending. Let's talk about our actual surface here of what we're going to be using. Obviously our canvas in this situation is going to be concrete or pavement in this sense. Now it's very important to know that what I would recommend doing is before you start off with the actual blending process, see if you can blend your chalk on the actual pavement that you're using. You may find that sometimes the pavement that you're using is more granular. If it's grainy, it may not be able to blend, right? So you'll be able to get maybe 1, maybe 2 colors of chalk on top of each other, but after that, it won't be able to blend anymore, and the chalk's just gonna wipe right off. If that's the case, you're gonna need to find some other pavement to be working on because the layering process that we'll be using will not work. So when we go ahead and start off with an image, we're always trying to think three-dimensionally, right? So just as when we're drawing, we're trying to find shapes within the drawing that we'll be able to use. So what I've gone ahead and done is I have my actual drawing image here, but I have pencil layerings of the initial construction lines underneath the actual image itself. And then from those construction lines, we move out to the marker. So I went ahead and grabbed a marker, just a light gray, and went ahead and filled in some of the forms, right, of the actual image itself. And then there's the actual marker for the Sharpie of the darker black lines that we see that are the actual outline of the image itself. They're more of like the encasings of a silhouette. So the actual silhouette, if we were to turn the entire image black, we'd be able to see how the image would actually look like as a full, in full and as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead and start to fill in those construction lines. I like to use a white chalk when I'm starting off. The white chalk is very nice because when we use white chalk, we're going to be using that to blend, right? Just as the same with drawing, start off with the lightest colors first and then move into the darker colors. That way we're able to see exactly what it is that we're drawing. And then when we're picking it up, it's much easier, right? So if I go ahead and grab my white chalk right here, I can make circle-ish shape, right? More of an oval. Grab a rag, and there we go, now it's gone. So it's helpful to have a rag with you just in case. Sometimes if you have pavement that really is high quality, where you can actually really blend up to maybe 7 layers of color, it's going to be quite difficult to use a rag to pull that off. So you'll be using water in that case after you're done drawing, eventually when you want to get rid of the image. And that makes it quite difficult to get rid of it. So it's nice if you can have pavement where a rag can work within the beginning steps, just to get rid of the actual chalk that you don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and start off. When we start off with this, it's the same as the drawing process, right? So we're trying to figure out what is it that we can do to start off with the image. So I'm going to go ahead and create a circle right in the middle here. We start off with a circle for the cranium, grab a line, right, just as when we're drawing. When we have a face, we're trying to find the symmetry within the face. We are dividing the head within half, but we're still thinking 3-dimensionally. We may be on a 2-dimensional surface, but we can think 3-dimensionally when it comes to what we're doing, right? You can create that line from that sphere that wraps around, which is where the eyes will be. When we have this basic shape, we can then move into the muzzle. And so the muzzle, when I'm looking at my drawing, goes slightly over the head. It's going to curve about right here. And I'm thinking in shape still. So I'm thinking, cylinder, right? It's a cylinder that we're really looking at. And so when you go down here, go straight out, grab the bigger form of this cylindrical shape, cover the muzzle. We're going to have the ears, so we're going to go ahead and you're going to make 2, this is going to be slightly smaller for perspective, but you're going to make 2 circles on the side of the head right here, which is where the ears are basically going to be going out of the circle that we've got. You have triangular shapes, right? Triangular shapes are for the fur. Corgi, which is what we're drawing, has the fur sticking out of the sides. Obviously, there's some on the other side right there as well, but they're so small that the muzzle's going to cover it up. Now, we're going to move in, and we're going to start to move downwards, right? This is the sort of thing where you start to move into squash and stretch. So I've got, I'm looking at the corgi, he's really pulling to the side. Right here, moving down from the neck, the other, it's a squash. The body is moving in this fluid direction, moving like that, the line of action, right? If we could draw a line of action to the entire body, we're going straight out through that way. So, this is the body, the shape of the body. One right here, a little bit larger right there, encompassing the whole region. Now, when we go up through here towards the ears, I'm going to start to block in shapes that I think, for the size of the ear, that I think probably will be about what we're looking for. I'm going to go through here, sort of build the initial structure, and then we can go ahead from there and sort of work around it. The nose, what I'm looking at right here, the nose is coming up, blocking a bit of the ear. This side right here is still going out. 1, 2, 3, down, pulling over the sides just like that. Now what we have is the layer of, the initial construction of the dog. So we can go ahead and start to make the crown right here. Remember, the crown is 3-dimensional as well. You're seeing this ring, so it's moving around the head. We have then the actual crown part itself, which is also moving around like that. I'm going to make 1, 2, 3 circles right here. I'm going to move them down just one line right now to show they're connecting. Then I'm going to move into the actual part of the face. So when I'm looking at this snout right here, it's sort of curved, right? Because he's smiling. Cheekbones are pulled up, which means that it's going to go down and over. Get that smile shape going down, over, more tight, pushing down, over. That means this is coming in, this is going out, coming back down. The tongue is going to be going out, down and over and out. We can really exaggerate the tongue if we want to, just like that. For right now, so the tongue's really coming out. When we're looking at what we're drawing right here, right, our form of the corgi is a caricature. So the caricature, we're starting out anatomically correct, and then pushing those forms, exaggerating the actual character that we have right here, exaggerating the lines, trying to simplify it down, finding the squash and stretch, moving through that process. Just like right here, I'm finding the eyebrows, the region, finding that volume within it, finding the eyes where it's pulled, pushed, pulled over, just like that. 1, 2, right here. Same thing we're finding within there. Middle region, which is going to be left blank. More colors, we left white. Finding the general shape of the ear, the insides of the ear, just like that. Now that we've gone ahead and found our main shapes within the actual body, let's move on to some other colors so we can move into some more detail. So how exactly does detail work with sidewalk chalk? Well, it's the same as the drawing process, like I said earlier, where we start off with some of the lightest colors, but really it all comes down to what you're drawing. When we look at the corgi right here, I found that through the colors when I'm analyzing the animal, right? A sort of yellowish, orangish blend encompasses the whole part of the dog. So when we're looking at the reference image right here, I'll say, okay, well this color, I'm seeing it around the eyebrows, through the fur right here, on the snout. I'm finding it all the way down the main frame of the dog, so it really is one of the largest portions of the overall colored image. So it would be best to start off with this color right here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to start off with finding these main shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the body right here. I'm going to move down a little bit. I'm going to go down through here, okay? And I'm going to look and say, well, it kind of goes through here. And there's a second one right here, just as I'm looking at. It kind of goes up, little portions connected right through there. Well, the ears have the same deal. And we can start to go into a little bit more detail. I'm going to pull it, I'm going to go out a little bit, I'm going to come back down, leave it kind of open. I'm going to go right through here, straight down there. Well, the actual inside of the ear is a little bit more complicated. We're going to start to sort of grab that fur and sort of hint at that a little bit. Move it out through here. Find that area down through there and sort of pull it back over. Same sort of deal for this ear right here. We're going to go out, that kind of goes in, goes up, over to the top. And you're just kind of trying to find an organic sort of sense for this. I'm going to curve this right here, going over to the head, right through there. I'm going to go ahead and do a marking indicator to show that this little portion right there in the middle is going to be left sort of white. And then I'm going to start to block in, like I said, some more of the eyebrows right here, considering that they take up a considerable portion. Going in through here, a little cheek. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab this right here for the main portion of the body. Pull this down, a little whoop, straight through there. Pull that down. Okay? So now, what do I really want to do? Well, I'm going to start to shade in some of this just to get an initial color. I know that as I move to the outside, it's kind of, the yellow really comes in through right about here. making these organic forms, the fur sort of moving in, going down through here. Out, going back in, moving through here, out, back in. And it's a layering process. Where the black and white is so important, because when we go back over, we're really finding those different in-between shades of the colors that we can really use. So now I'm going to step back and look at what we've got and try to figure out where to go from here. Well, I want to make sure that I'm leaving a considerable amount of space open for the white, so I'm only going to move in through here to do the corners of the ears. Leave some of that open, down, over, just like that. I'm going to go ahead here, grab some yellow in. Then I'm going to go on top. I know there's a little bit more white as we start to approach this region. And just sort of filling it out. I'm going to go back through here, find the portion of the ears, going out, find a little crisp right there. Move in, go down, out, oh, right across. There we go. So now, both ears have been done, and we can begin to move to more of the muzzle right here. So there's a little bit of white in between this region, right? But we also have just a hint of yellow. So because of that, in this general region, I'm just going to put some there as a placeholder. Now that I kind of know the general area, I can go in and start with the actual muzzle right here. So I'm going to go in, outline the nose that we have. Just going to go in like that. Do a little bit of color just for right now. Going over, coming down. Just like that. Moving back and through. Going for the mouth right here. We've noticed that. Room for the tongue. A little bit of yellow in there. So there we have it. So now we can go ahead that we've done that. We can move in to the actual eyes and some of the more important details. So now we can go ahead and fill in the eyes. So let's go ahead and do that. For the eyes right here, I'm making more of a cartoon character-ish look, right? So our eyes are squinting, the cheekbone's pulling it up from right here. I'm going to go ahead and outline where the eyeball itself right there, cave that in. Go ahead right here, and white. What's nice about sidewalk chalk is that you can blend it, right? You can blend the colors. So we've got this sort of region right there, and now we can go ahead and grab our black and begin to fill it in. So I'm going to go ahead up here, this over, and this comes down like that, across right there, the actual eyeball. Okay, so generally a large shape right there. So this can be our one eye. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab this white and outline the brow. filling in volume right here. Filling that in. I'm going to go in here. A little bit in between. Going through there. Top. You don't have to use a whole lot of chalk. We can really blend it that way that we're not wasting a whole bunch of chalk. We can push these colors around, just like in painting. We can push the colors, move them throughout. Sort of push it right here, go into the white just a little bit. Show that mix of color. Go ahead right here, add some more white. There we go. Go ahead and put that in, we got that right there. You can blow that off. So there we go, now you got the eyebrow part. Grab some more of this, really make that clear. Okay? I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the eyeball that's over here. We only see a little bit of it because the nose blocks a decent portion of it. But we can still sort of shape it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my black again right here, and I'm just gonna go down like that, go over, I'm gonna go up, go back down. I'm gonna go ahead and keep a little bit of that white right there. Okay. Blend that in. Okay. And we'll just keep that right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our white, lock it in as we were. Go ahead and do that. Grab some of this yellow right here. Blend that in. Grab my finger. Just go ahead like that. You're just going to constantly blend the colors that you already have. Go ahead and blend those. And add some more. Just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the sharp edge of this so that I can get the eyes on it out. Go ahead and go up here. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and outline the nose. So we outline the nose in this sort of heart shape almost, which is right there, going back down, keeping a little bit of this for a little glare, which we will, this part's going to be a little bit lighter right there, adding in that white, going in with the black. I'm going to push the black over, keep going through, keep pushing it in. It's going to go over here, it's going to go over there. There we go, just like that. You can see a little bit of the yellow starting to get in. That's all right, we can just add some more black right there. Push that up. Keep the glimmer that you got right there. I'm gonna go ahead and let this be a little bit lighter. Okay. grab this white right here. Make this a bit lighter. Pulling through what we have right there, grabbing that. And just really rub that in. There we go. You can go ahead and go over the black too, just like that. Just like that. And push it, really push it. Push the colors. Gonna blend in just like that. Going right over. Push some of that off, blow it away, the excess chalk. That way you can tell what's actually on your painting or your drawing and what isn't. Just like that right there. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and add a few little lines here, which I'll blend in. Just show the eyebrows just a bit. Just add some more white in there. Okay, blow that off. All right, now let's go ahead and focus back on the muzzle right here. Go ahead and pull that down. Okay, we have a tongue that needs to get taken care of, and we have the lips. So let's start off right here. I'm going to pull this through. I'm going to go ahead and grab this little section right here, make this line all the way up through there. I'm going to have it go back down. It's the inside of this mouth. We go right through here, just like that. I'm going to stop right here because that's where the tongue's going to be. Now what's interesting is you have a bit of the side of the cheeks right here. Some of it's going to be left black, some of it is going to be actually filled out a bit more. Cheeks. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of black right there. Blend that in with the white. Blend it in. Okay, there we go, just like that. Pushing that down, going right across, and there we go. And we got some of this. Grab the white, pull it in through here. We're getting a nice white-yellow mix with the white here. We want to pull across, really push the color. There we go. Pull it in through here with the white you already got. We're going to mix a little bit of that black in right there, get that nice shading and keeping the form that we have. So we're going to go back up. We will add to that in a moment. We're just going to add some more white. Make sure we're staying true to that. We've got our colors right. Because if we blend too much, what it might end up happening is we might end up confusing the actual solid lines that we want with the shaded parts, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that we have the parts right here, they're solid. These are the outlines, the details. We don't want those to get mixed up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the, move into the red for the tongue. I have the teeth that I want to stay intact, but I will grab the tongue right here, pull this out, grab this, and go down. I have the shading that I know, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in right there so I can keep a little bit of the shade. Okay, which means now I can move in with the actual light pink, move into that. Grabbing the light pink, moving it down, keeping the red for when I need that. If you find that you have too much excess chalk on your hands from the white and the black and the yellow, I would recommend that you wash your hands, then come back and blend. But usually, when we're blending, we'll find that you'll pick up the new color relatively easily, so you won't have to wash them that often. All right, let's go ahead and grab some of this dark red. Push that in there. Showing the shadow right there. You go across, push that in. Okay, there we go. Going back up. I can outline this if I want, which I will. I'm gonna start to add the cheeks right there. For the mouth, the inside of the mouth. Go ahead and grab a little of that black, mix them in. We're getting those, that way we know we're getting the gums. Mixing that in. Okay, and then the rest of the mouth that we have right here is going to, from that, a little bit of red right here. And it's going to mix into a solid black right there. Black. Push that across the inside. Blow the excess away. Push that around. There we go. And then we're going to grab this again. Right through. A little bit darker. Okay. He's got some teeth. Right there. And what we can do with the teeth is we can go ahead and kind of shape those in too. 1, 2, one right there, 3, 4. Last one, really small. The rest of that black right there. Which means that for this, I can go back in and just down right there. Okay. So we got our teeth. Let's go back in, add a little bit of clarity right there. We want to make sure that they're relatively straight, so I'm going to paying close attention to the detail that we have on this. Making sure it go over. Okay. Grab a little bit more white here since this is mixing a little bit too much. Add those layers. Go ahead, go across, block that out. Now I'm going to go right here. Now I'm just going to mix that in. Go ahead right here. Grab this, do one line in, and the rest will be darkened out. So I'm going to go ahead, grab that black, push it through there, go over here, grab that squash, push right through. Go ahead and blow the excess off. So now we're moving into more of the main frame of the dog right here. since we've already gone through the main steps for the animal, now we can just go ahead into different sections and slowly fill in the detail, which is why it's not the same as the layering process that you'll see in most drawing or painting or digital painting. It's more of a one area at a time for chalk art, because it's all about the consistent blending, right? So we're moving in, we're blending one area, then we're going to another, blending that, really pushing the chalk. Okay, we start to sort of drive a sharp contrast between, at least right here, the yellow and the white. Okay. Now I'm going to go head over here, do the same thing. I'm going to grab this, I'm going to start to define my outline, right? So for defining the outline, I can go right here, go in, out, go down here, so like that. I'm going to grab a little bit of that, push it right on down. So I like what we got going right here. I like this little bit of gold for the fur. I like that. I'm going to push that in. I think that's just enough to hint onto it. Okay. Pushing that up, looking down again. A little bit more of that gold right up here. I'm going to push that in. I can go ahead with the black again and define these lines a little bit more. Make sure we have that definition, just so that we have clarity right here. One goes in. It's two separate lines right there. Go up. There we go. We'll go in with a darker yellow in a moment. Now, we have this. So we can fill in the areas that aren't in yellow with the white. Going here, down, up, going through there, going straight down. Which means all of this can be a light yellow mixed into a white. We have that blending process that we're getting into right from one to the other. Right, so initially we're going to start off with that gold. Move into a lighter yellow. And pushing that down. Before moving from the actual fur right here, the main part of the body, into anything else, we'll definitely wash our hands, because when it comes to this part of the intensive blending, you'll see that you're picking up far more of the individual colors than you normally are with some of the other sections, because we're really, really blending this in for the definition, not as which is much more than the other parts that we're seeing for the upper ends right here. Face. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab that yellow. Sorry, the white. Move that in right here. Okay. Mixing that in really nicely. Smooth. Pushing that into the main parts of the body, which means we can go in with the black later and start to add those fine details to the actual fur. There we go.
This portion right here that we're seeing is also going to be white, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then it's going to be all yellow from there. It's going to be all yellow. So go ahead and push it just a little bit, because we know that the fur does blend. It does overlap, just like right here. We have the yellow. Blend it in right there, going up, down again, pushing that through, starting to move into the ears. The ears have these same two colors, so we're good. We can go with the ears, fill those out, and then move on to the next section. So, for the ears, we're outlining again. I'm going to go ahead and grab my black. I'm going to move through the ears from the top section, going down, moving inwards. Going again on the top right here, going down. I'm grabbing my yellow, right along those lines right there, grabbing my finger and just spreading that black right down there. Grab my other finger and spreading this yellow a bit more in, a little bit more organically. Now we get to move in with the white. Remember, we had those definitive shapes earlier, those lines. Moving out and in. We had the little half circle right there. And then we had the large outer ring. Well, we can bring those back and we can fill it in. Grabbing our white, pushing that through right there, out, going down, blending, 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 blending. Just like that, right through there, out, up, down, over, and right through. Same process the whole time. Just moving from one section to the next. Okay? One section to the next. If you want more definitive lines, you can add in some smaller shapes, not blend them as much and just keep them in. Just leave them. And then you can come back for it later and add some of the black to it. Let's move down, push this up, right over the head, right there. I'm going to go ahead and move over to this section right here. Start to do the same thing. This ear is a little bit bent. Moving out, over, grabbing our line, straight through there. Blending that, there we go. Now it's smooth. Grabbing our yellow. Let's look to see here what we have going on. We had a section right there and fur that went in, and several smaller interjections right there. So I'm going to blend that, just like that. Pushing in through there, going up, right back through there. Now the ear's connected. Well, the ear does move and connect to there. And this portion right here is not part of the ear. It needs to stay white right there. So we can make sure that we're staying true to the lines that we've got going. But it doesn't end there. I'm going to do a little bit of black right there just to show separation. Okay, because this whole section right here is all white. And we don't want it to get too mixed to the point where we can't tell where one part ends and the other one begins. It's about clarification. Going through here. I'm grabbing my white and I'm pulling it across the form through there, grabbing my finger, pulling that through here, adding that white. Blowing it away so we can see what we got. Not as clear on the edges, so just gonna pull it through there. There we go. So we now have the two main parts done for this. You can go ahead and add some more detail if you want to separate here a little bit, you want to add some more fur lines. All of it's completely fine. Now we can go ahead and move into the crown. After moving the crown, we're then going to start to add some more detail to the fur. We're going to start to build up those layers. We're going to start to make it a little bit darker in some sections, and we're going to talk about how to add layers while not adding too much, so as to get rid of the cartoon-like look. So we're going to talk about how many layers we're going to need and where to stop from there. So when we're looking at the crown, we're looking at a slightly different object, right? We're not looking at, texture-wise, we're not looking at fur, right? We're looking at an object where in one case we have glare on the sides of the crown, right? So I'm going to outline right here part of the crown that we've got. Blend that black in real quickly. So for the outline of the crown, I'm going to go up and have this straight across. Okay. Just like that. Just like that. Go ahead and blend that in. Okay. So that's going to be our outline. We can fix it, we can add some, we can take away some. We can look at it, say, do we like that? We can look at our reference photo, say, is that exactly how we want it? Well, it's pretty good, it's pretty cartoony, so I'm going to stick with it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with the red itself before moving on to the inward part, right? So we can look at the glare and all of that. And we can talk about how exactly that works. For right here, for this section, I'm going to leave a little bit of white for these parts. Right, these are going to be the connecting areas, right? So we got little decals for the crown here. Right. So then we can blend these in a little bit. That one slightly goes out. This one, same thing. And then we'll add a little bit to that. Add a little circle for this one, and these are going to be a little bit thinner, right? So go ahead and add that yellow in, add the yellow in, circle. There we go, we kind of got a little bit in right there. Okay, I can go ahead and outline the outer part of this. Connect it. Same as for this, I can go up, go down. Okay, so there we go, our outlines have been generated. Now we can go ahead and start to add in the red. So for the red, I'm grabbing my darker color and sort of figuring out how I want this to look. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. Go ahead and grab my lighter pink and figure out where the shading ends. I kind of like this sort of area right there. That's kind of fun. I think that's fine for it to stop. Blend the chalk in. Grabbing my hand again, just blending those colors. If you find that the little decals that we have going for the crown here on the sides that hold the jewelry, if you find that those have been sort of misshaped as a result, you can just change those later, it's all good. Grab the red, blend that a bit, blend that up here, push that across the form. Just like that. Grabbing the red, blending it in just a bit over here. The outline right there. Now we can grab this, add some more dark red to right here, adding that in, going across, and moving the forms. It's a constant process, going back and forth, figuring out what it is that you like, what you don't, what do you not like. And I'm even thinking that because there's not too much shade, I'm gonna make this pink. I kind of like it how it originally was. So I'm gonna go in and move the pink around. Pushing that out. I'm gonna go with the white, fix some of this that we had originally. Fix some of that. Maybe a little bit right here. Blend this one a bit more. Now, what we can do if we want, if we're finding that it's not outlined enough, we can go in with the black and see how this looks. If you like that. Grabbing the yellow, blend that around. And that's kind of nice because we can really tell the difference between that. So I'm gonna go in, grab a little more red, blend that around. Now I'm gonna move into one of the most interesting parts, which is the crown itself right here. Well, move through right there, push across along right here, blowing away some of the excess. As you can see, it's sort of dipping a little bit too much right there. So grab that white, come back in, add over the layer, fix that up. There we go. So now we've got a little area right here. Add a little bit of glimmer onto that. All right, grab the black again, kind of go back over that. Going back over it right there too. Okay, so there we go. We've got the shape of our crown going. A little bit right there. All right. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and start with some of the more detailed parts of the shading for him. Perhaps one of the best things that we can do is you can move in a little bit of stark orange color right here. And we can go ahead and start to fill in some of these parts right here. So I'm going to go in and add some of this orange for some added extra color. No particular order for where it is that these lines are going. They're all just to darken up some of the areas, just to go around, just adding a little bit of extra color. Grab this and I'm just going to blend it in with what's already there. Grab some of this, pull it down, push it through, just like that. Grab some over here, use my fingers, blend through over there. Grab some of this, But I really still want to keep that yellow that I have because that stays true to the main color of his body. This is only just a little bit of highlight, so I'm really pushing it in to the ground right here. Really pushing it in to make sure that we're still keeping that yellow and that the orange doesn't distract from the yellow that we had. So on this side, right here, I'll go ahead and grab the yellow. Make sure to overlap it just a bit since there's a little bit too much orange. Still, we can build those layers for the color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the black and outline the tongue a bit more. I'm going to blend that in, and I think what I might do is for this little section right here, I might add a little bit more black just in this section right here, and then blend that down right there. Kind of go over, push that in, just kind of add that right there, right for the middle of the tongue. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of detail to the inside of the ear, right here on this side. I'm going to push out maybe a little bit right there. Using that, just very lightly sort of moving in, adding those extra layers. There we go. And we have that. We can add a little bit of shading over here too as well. This side's going to be a little bit lighter though, the layers I tried to add. Alright, just give me a little bit. Alright, we can add a little bit more right down over here. Just to really add that. Okay, and we can even go ahead and add a little bit of black to this dark red over here. There we go. Add a little bit of red too, just to make sure that the blending works. More fluid. Okay. There we go. It's kind of nice. Maybe a little bit more. In between. Okay. And let's see, maybe adding a little bit more black to the nose right here to show some stark contrast. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit more. Come over here. Fill those final sections right over here.
All right.
So that does it for today's session of chalk art, the introduction to chalk art. I hope you enjoyed the first project that we had today and that you learned a little bit about the blending process, the initial foundation process, and all that there is to really to chalk art when you go about creating a new piece. I'll see you tomorrow for the next project. Stay tuned and we'll have something great for you waiting tomorrow. All right? Have a great day.